What's going on, guys? So today I wanted to talk about oblique slash core workouts, but more on the obliques because I've been seeing that come up a lot on Google and even here on Instagram. But people want to know how to train the obliques and where they are. So basically, you have your core, and people just see the core as one thing, like just the core. But let me try to tilt this down. Basically, you have different parts of the core. So you have, your inner core where you see the typical six pack. And then on the side that's considered the outer the outer core, that's the obliques, pretty much the side of your abs. So that's where they are because people don't know. Now, the way to train them is going to be not a little bit, but extremely different in comparison to how you do your basic ab training or ab workouts. Typically, when we see abs, we do a regular crunch, or maybe we'll do a plank, or maybe we'll do, what else do people do? Sometimes they'll do, what else do they do? They'll use machines, and then they'll do the curls on the machines. Certain workout, what do you call them? Different workout gyms or fitness centers have different equipment, but typically people will do crunches. And like I said, I have my ideas on the benefit of crunches, if they're good or not, and that's a separate video. I don't want to talk about it right now. But the way that you train obliques is, like I said before, is extremely different in comparison to your typical sit-up or your typical crunch. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a side plank. That's one way to do it. Like I said, there's other ways, but the easiest way, because I want to do this for beginners, I want this to be for people who are starting their fitness journey or just starting to work out. The best way to do it is the side plank. So you've seen a regular plank. You have your arms, not arms, but you pretty much have yourself in a push-up position, and you're kind of resting on your the underside of your forearm. Pretty much. So kind of, just not leaning, but resting on your forearm. So that's pretty much how a plank works. Now, with the side plank, you're going to pretty much use one arm, and you're going to have the other arm up to balance yourself. But you're pretty much just doing a regular plank, but just one-handed, and you're having your other arm up. So the way that works is that it pretty much puts a lot of the stress and tension right on your obliques, similar to how a regular plank puts a lot of the tension right on your core, pretty much the entire way down up until, I would say, maybe right until the pelvis, or not even the pelvis, but pretty much up until the start of the lower abdomen. So basically it's the same thing, but it's just moving the tension. So like I said, you have your one arm up, and then you have the other arm, on the ground, like if it was a regular plank, and you're balancing yourself up. And you can do maybe I would say to start, maybe do a good 5 seconds. And I think that's where a lot of people mess up, is that they try to do too much. They try to say, I'm not doing a minute like all these people on YouTube or other people are doing. But you got to remember that your body is different, especially if you're new. And you have to take your time and work up to that, because you can do it. People can try to push themselves and say, I'm just going to go all out and do like a whole 2-minute plank. That's good, but it's not sustainable. When it comes to fitness and just a lot of other things in life, but specifically with fitness, you want to think long term, because that's how it works. It takes a long time for the body to respond. And you want to see it as progressing. That's why a lot of people, either they plateau and they don't grow, or they just don't grow at all, and they even give up even before growing. But even people that, like I said, they don't give up, that's why they don't see results, and then eventually they end up working out for like 2 months and not seeing results. You should see some inkling of results. You should see some type of result. Either it be the workout getting easier. It's not always visible. It's not always something you can see. Sometimes it's how you feel. You might feel a little bit lighter, but you should see something. So a lot of the problem is that people aren't doing them right. So that's why I come and I just give advice. I don't train people anymore, but I just like to give different tips to help people, because I remember how it was when it was confusing, when I didn't have a trainer, and I'm pretty much self-taught, but I had to try a bunch of different things to see what worked. And I had wished that I had somebody who went through it especially somebody who went through different physical phases to explain it and break it down for me. But that's why you pretty much need to take your time and grow progressively, because like I said before, you can push yourself if you want to. You can push yourself and try to do 2 minutes. I remember I did when I first started. I tried to do like 2 minute planks, and like I said, you can do that for like maybe a week. You know, if you're working out maybe like 3 days a week, you can do it. But eventually over time your body starts to wear down because you're not physically able to do it. And then you start to burn out, and then eventually you want to give up because you're putting all this work in and you're not seeing the results. So that's why, like I said, little by little is how you start to see those results. So like I said, you know, when you're trying to work out your obliques, like I said, I think a really good thing is the side plank. So like I said, it's just a regular plank. You can look it up on Google. Like I said, it's just like a push-up position, but you're resting on the underside of your forearm. And like I said, it's just one-handed plank. So you have the other arm pointed to the sky. You're resting on the arm, kind of like this, and you're sideways. And like I said, focus on, especially if you're new, focus on really, really perfecting the form. Don't focus on time, saying, I'm going to do it for this long, especially if you're first starting. Focus on at least getting yourself balanced, getting used to your body weight. And like I said, there's other things people use. People use, I forgot what it's called, but basically they'll be like resting on an object, and I forgot what it was called because I haven't been in a physical gym in a long time. But they're resting on an object and they're kind of like bending themselves, and it does the same thing. It's the same thing as a side plank. The only difference is that the benefit is that you can do the side plank at home. You can do it anywhere. But like I said before, that works as well. Some people that have back problems, they don't like to do that, so because it kind of puts your spine in a different position. So like I said, see what works for you. But I think for beginners, it's really, really good to get that body weight up. And like I said before, it's a full body workout because you're working out your arms a little bit. Not a lot, but a teeny bit, because you're getting used to your body weight. You're not going to have jacked, super buff arms, but you're going to see a little bit of a difference because you're working on stabilizer muscles and you're pretty much working muscles you haven't worked before if you haven't trained. So I want you guys to try that out and see how it works.